So, just after publishing the last video about reasons for selecting certain colleges, best reason being the students around you, I came under a quick criticism. Mark, that seems awfully crass. Well, let me defend this and even amplify on it. The two reasons to go to college in modern times are to get you a good first career job and to make social connections that you couldn't make otherwise in 4 years outside of college. That's it. It's potentially a holding tank while you figure things out. Don't love that, but it's not a terrible place to be because you're getting a credential in the process. It's potentially housing while you build a business. That's a rare group of people, but that's not bad. And potentially a hobby if you have a good career to land yourself into anyway. The hobby is the big transformation, okay? 40 years ago, learning Shakespeare, delving into world history were pursuits that kids would be expected to do for 4 years of liberal arts education and then transition into a career pretty quickly because many employers, good employers, would say, we like your background. We think you'll fit in. You probably have learned to think effectively. You can't do that anymore, okay? Employers want specific skills, which is why liberal arts grads that don't do practical things in or outside of skills don't get nearly the same kind of job offers unless they're at a truly elite, like top 20 university. You still have that. The hobby aspect, I think, should be off the radar screen of anybody except a trust fund baby who also has a career path set up. Everyone else, that first career job should be paramount. And the kids around you who are also driving for good first career jobs are the best students around to be with. Now, I've made the exceptions of when you have maybe lesser caliber students, but you're in a very focused major. You don't have to be at a top rated university because what you do at a low ranked state school, not even their top flagship university, can lead to careers. All right, so what about teaching you how to think? That's what 4 years of college is supposed to do. I want students to learn how to think beforehand. It worked very well for me, 4 years of a good high school. And in case you don't feel like you've gotten that out of high school, maybe 1 or 2 years without college or high school, but in the workforce, experiencing real life, teaches you how to think. Along the way, expose yourself to very good thinkers who don't have to be on a campus. They're online. Go to Hillsdale College, which has courses of good thought in Western civilization. Listen dedicated to people like Ben Shapiro, Dennis Prager, Laura Ingraham, Michelle Malkin, Stephen Crowder. They exude cerebral back and forth that you can't help to be a better thinker after a few hours with those guys. By the way, learning how to think before you set foot on campus may be more valuable now because campuses are littered with, I'll use that term intentionally, littered with professors who do not think well, who want to expose kids to wayward thinking, drive them into an anti-progress, anti-American, and ultimately defeating camp. You want to be armed to avoid those professors or combat them intellectually when they try to foist bad ideas on you. Campuses over the last 40 years have become saturated with wayward professors. That's why I also like younger adjuncts, practical people who come off of the workforce into campuses for 1 lecture a week. I think you tend to learn more from those people than ivory tower professors. All right, so what about goodness? Doesn't college teach that? Not in the last 100 years. Many colleges were designed to be places for devotion to God. But by the start of the 20th century, that was pretty much out the window, except for a select group of Bible colleges, and they still exist today. So goodness is probably developed better outside of college for 4 years. Being in business, being a workman on a crew, digging stuff, probably has you make more cerebral decisions in a week that affect other people than a whole month in college. What you do in college affects only you. It has almost no effect on people around you. Being in the workplace with clients and colleagues expecting stuff of you, that's so maturing. It's also why I encourage an awful lot of people who are not very directed, especially boys, to take those 2 years away before setting foot on campus. When they do get to campus, they're far wiser. They're looked up to. Girls really dig that. Goodness is done according to who you interact with. And in the workforce, you interact almost certainly in a more wholesome way. And when you make mistakes, you learn from those mistakes more immediately. The average nanny probably has more cerebral decisions to make in a week than a college kid. The average EMT, okay, 6 months and now you're into an EMT job. They absolutely have more decisions involving your brain and your morality of how you're going to interact with the next visit than a student in 4-year college. I'm Mark Greenstein. I hope this has been an adequate defense. If not, send me an email.